Hey, it's Richard with Matthews Wealth Management. We're going to be talking about taxation of Social Security income. So a lot of people come into retirement and they believe, well, my Social Security, I've been paying taxes on my income my whole life, therefore it's not going to be taxed, right? Well, in some cases that is true, but in most cases that is false. So we're going to talk about when Social Security becomes taxable, how much of it is going to be counted as income to be taxed, and then what those thresholds actually, how we can have some sort of control over when we are taxed and how to avoid certain taxation. So I want to go through, like in most of my videos, with an example here and kind of highlight a run-of-the-mill scenario of where Social Security and other types of income fall so that we can make good decisions about making choices of income down the road in retirement. So I'm going to use a couple here, married, filing jointly, each of them drawing Social Security. The first one, let's say his name is Richard, and he is drawing $1,875 per month. That's pretty normal on a Social Security monthly draw. And let's say that his wife, Britt, is bringing in $1,100 per month. So that's a fairly run-of-the-mill scenario of what we would see for Social Security monthly income. Now, when we bring that out on an annual basis, that means Richard is bringing in $22,500, and Britt would be bringing in $13,200. So altogether, there's a total of $35,700 of annual income for this couple, married filing jointly, from Social Security benefits. So that's pretty good little foundational income piece, roughly $3,000 a month that we're looking at there. But in this example, let's throw in some other typical sources of income. So let's say that there's a pension out there, and Richard is going to be drawing from his pension $540 per month. Pensions nowadays are not very big. It's kind of surprising. There are still quite a few out there that people have earned and stuck with long-term companies. A lot of baby boomers that are retiring currently still do have pensions. A lot of people in Generation X and all the millennials and so forth, they'll never see a pension in the future here. But let's do that $540 out for an annualized $6,480. And then, like most retirees, each of these two clients, Richard and Britt, have an IRA, and they're going to draw off of their IRA to, visit kids, go on vacation, buy stuff for the grandkids, all the normal stuff. And let's say that out of the IRA, Richard is going to take $500 a month, and Britt is also going to take $500 a month. So that equals $6,000 per year for each of them. So when we look at the other sources of income besides Social Security, and we add those up, we're going to have $18,480. Okay, so this is the other income that we're looking at. So when we start talking about taxation, specifically of how do we count this income, are we going to have to pay taxes on it? We go to a term that's considered combined income. And what combined income is kind of it's an awkward equation, and it's actually used to trigger a test that determines the percentage of Social Security benefits that will count for filing your income taxes to pay income tax on. So the combined income, the way we do that is we take 1/2 Social Security plus other income plus non-taxable income. So in our example, we're not going to consider the non-taxable income. Think of like municipal bond interest. That's a great example of what we would have to also factor into this. But this is a term we consider combined income. So let's go through that. 1/2 of Social Security of this $35,000 is going to be $17,000. $850, and then we just simply add this other $18,480, and we come up with the total of $36,330. Okay, so that is our combined income number. So as I mentioned before, Richard and Britt married filing jointly, and what that does when we run this $36,000 number up against the test, that says that if you are below a combined income of $32,000, if we were under $32,000, we would be at 0%. Well, unfortunately, we are over the $32,000. So as we go from $32,000 up to $44,000, that will be from 50% up to 85%. So this is a sliding scale range, but the simple fact that we crossed that $32,000 threshold for our combined income means that we went from none of our Social Security being considered income to immediately half of it. So that last little dollar right there is worth an exorbitant amount of taxes. So let's go through a quick strategy here to talk about what Richard and Britt can do to significantly minimize the taxation of their Social Security here. So if I were to just simply run this, where we say, all right, let's just not figure that we're 53% or something like that. Let's say that we're actually at 50%, and we're going to have this $17,850 and this $18,480 count as their actual adjusted gross income. What that would be, so we're going to do a total income, and this is going to be considered taxable. Well, let me leave that just total income, so we'll add it all together so we can see that they're bringing in $54,180. That's if we were to just add these two up here. So let's see, if we've got that $54,180, I'm not going to dive into all the tax stuff here, but they would have their standard deduction that would come off of the top, and that would leave a certain amount of what would be considered taxable. And so what we're going to do is subtract out that $17,850, subtract the standard deduction, and then run it through the tax brackets. So then from this total income, our tax in this scenario is not much, but it's there for sure. $1,153 is what they would be paying tax on this $54,000. So that's a pretty normal scenario. But what if we were to find out how we could lower our 36 to get it to $31,999? Because then we wouldn't have to pay any tax on this $35,700 here. So what we would do is we would lower our IRA withdrawals. So instead of $500 a month, what we would do is lower those down to, let me go with the long-term number here. So we're going to say $3,835. If we do that for each of them and cut from $500 a month down to $319 a month, what we find is that the total income does drop, obviously, by the gap in there. So we're now bringing in $49,850 of total income, and now our tax is 0. Okay, so we brought in, what is that, a little less than $4,000 or a little less than $5,000 there, and we eliminated completely our taxes. So that last little bit of income there, if we were to take the 1,153, the difference here, divide that into it, that means that that last little bit of income is actually being taxed at 26.63%. So we really want to eliminate that 26.63%. As I said, if you go over this by $1, it's an exorbitant tax, and that kind of proves it right there. So what we would what I would recommend to Richard and Britt is maybe consider taking a little bit less per month in terms of income, especially if they're not needing it. If they're just, you know, sending money around, giving it to kids and grandkids, then, you know, maybe do that and not pay the IRS for that luxury. So just a little example here about how to calculate what the overarching amount of Social Security gets counted in the practice, and then also how you can make adjustments to IRA withdrawals to really minimize how much you're paying in tax to the IRS at the end of the year. So we'll do some more Social Security planning videos when it comes to clawback provisions and so forth, but join us next time.